Welcome everyone to another episode of Optimal Health for Busy Entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Julian Hayes II, and I am out. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'm just out in the park, just taking a stroll as I'm recording this real quick. And today's episode, what I wanted to discuss was all about distractions. And the reason why I got distractions in mind is because there's a lot going on in the world right now, and you would have to be living under a rock to not think, to not even notice anything going on right now. But just because it seems like there's bad news everywhere around right now doesn't necessarily mean that you have to give into that bad news. You know, is there only bad news around, or is it that your perception and what you're tuning into is only bad news? But anyway, about distractions. Distractions are a very interesting thing because oftentimes distractions can come from, when we think of distractions, we think of things like our computers or multitasking, and that's like distractions 101. But the three things I want to talk about today are things that you maybe don't think about as much. And the first one is the people around you. And this one may sound harsh, but oftentimes the people around us can be distractions. And it's not distractions of, hey, they're not letting us get work done. It's more, this distractions comes in, maybe it's discouragement. Maybe it's telling you to just relax a little bit, to be a little complacent, to not work so hard, to not work out so much, to just enjoy life more. You don't have to eat so healthy all the time or making you feel guilty about it. All those kind of situations are a form of distraction, because if you give in to those things when you don't want to, it can take you off your purpose and your mission. And a big one, especially in the career world, which I dealt with this one big time when I was leaving school, was the fear that people place on you. People place their fears on you. And what I mean by this is that as a business owner, and when you're a business owner, people will let you know so many things that could go wrong. And people a lot of times do not understand the necessary sacrifices, struggles, or psychological things going on in your head when it's building a business or building a career, building some kind of, or even in the arts. But you get it. Anytime you're doing something meaningful, any type of meaningful work where risk is involved, uncertainty is involved, people see it as a risk and they can put those fears on you. So it's not just a thing with our business, but it's also something with our health as well. So the people around you can be a distraction through their actions. And so be ultra selective with who you share your goals with. Now, I didn't say kick these people out of your life and tell them to kick rocks. I just said be very selective with who you share your most important and intimate goals with. So number two is, the second distraction is needing constant stimulation. You can think of this also as needing like a constant dopamine chase, right? So these are the people where they constantly need to change. They constantly need variation, variety. They can't handle just doing the same thing over and over. And obviously you could think about how this could be difficult, how this can be problematic when you are following a nutritional regimen that has you doing a certain thing day in and day out. And the same thing with the training program. When you have a training program, one of the biggest mistakes that people do with their training is they always need constant, every workout has to be different. Every week has to be different. They're shocking guessing the muscles. Well, that's an easy way to never get any type of results when you're doing that. And so as an alternative, when you're doing that, what I want you to do is, it's a concept that I learned from one of my previous guests, Ari Rostegard. Awesome episode. Go listen to it if you haven't already. He's the Oracle of Austin. He's killing the real estate game. And he has a saying that boring is beautiful. Let me say that again. boring is beautiful. And he says boring is beautiful, and because oftentimes it's the boring, mundane details, but doing those key things day in and day out, that's what's going to lead to success, because that is what is needed. It's focus. So what I want you to do today, as you assess everything, I want you to think about the law of one. I want you to adopt the law of one as you go about yourself. Hey, how's it going? Good morning. So adopt the law of one as you go out. And what I mean by the law of one, and then also after you adopt the law of one, or that one thing, I want you to think about maybe 2 to 4 critical habits that is going to make that one thing successful. What are the 2 to 4 critical key habits for that law of one? So if your goal is to lose maybe 10 pounds or so by this coming up summer, what are the 2 to 4 key habits day in, day out that you are going to have to do in order to make that thing happen? So the last thing here is, oh, excuse me. It's a beautiful day out here, if I must say. So to quickly recap so far, the first one is the people around you. The second one is needing constant variety. And the third one is operating with your emotions instead of logic. Now, both of these are necessary. It's good to have logic. It's good to have emotion. But when you're making emotional decisions and you're letting your emotions guide you instead of your logic, that can oftentimes, well, most of the time, lead you to some non-ideal decisions. And what I mean by this is, a lot of times we don't feel like doing anything. Like, I don't really feel like I don't feel like running most of the time. I don't feel like lifting weights. I don't feel like sitting down studying. I don't feel like doing a lot of things that are actually productive for me. What I feel like doing a lot of times is just sitting around, going to play video games or something. I don't have video games, but it's kind of what I would like to do. Or just going to eat junk food because it's pleasurable in the moment. But oftentimes things that give us short-term pleasure usually give us long-term agony. And if not long-term agony, those short-term pleasures often set us back in the long term, to not put it so harshly. So leading with our emotions instead of leading with logic. And when you do that, what that's going to do is it's going to give you a way out at times. It's going to be hard to be consistent. It's going to be an easy way to give into these distractions because your emotions are telling you to, I don't know, for example, to stay glued to what's going on in the news, stay glued to drama that's on the internet, stay glued to, I don't know, there's so many things out there that can just take you away. And if your emotions are guiding you, those things are going to offer a quick hit of dopamine, a quick hit of pleasure, right up a lot quicker than something as actually getting to the gym when you don't feel like it, or making that nutritious meal instead of that junk food or that pretend healthy food, or just skipping the workout altogether. So this is just a freestyle, just a little thoughts I had while I'm here, just taking a stroll at the park before a call. So to recap again, distractions, they're all around us, and it's beyond multitasking. It's beyond, setting your phone in another room. It's beyond those things. Those are basic things to handle distractions. But these are more nuanced distractions that we don't typically think about. But these types of distractions absolutely can affect our health, can absolutely affect our business, can absolutely affect our life. How's it going? And so all three of these things can affect that. And so the first one is, excuse me, in no particular order. The first one is needing constant variety and stimulation as a distraction. Number 2 is the people around you. The people around you, the people that you talk to, be very selective with who you share your goals with. Not everyone needs to know those. You can still offer them lots of love in your life, but be selective with who you tell your goals to. And going back to the stimulation, adopt the law of one. And then after you adopt the one thing, have the critical 2 to 4 habits that is going to make that thing a success. And the last part is to lead with logic, not emotions. So to always keep that in mind, am I leading with my emotions or am I leading with logic? So I hope this video was a help. I look forward to talking to you later. Stay awesome, be limitless, and continue to be great. Peace.